Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do the character guide on Sice. I know some of you are pretty excited for this, so trying to get it out right away for you guys, because I know she just came out last night, and some of you probably want to know how to play her. So in this video, we're going to look at her artifacts, her spheres, and then talk about her kit a little bit. And she's actually a very interesting character. She's more interesting than I thought she was. She's very multi-dimensional. She's definitely not a one-dimensional character. She actually can do a lot for your party, and I would almost recommend summoning for her just because she can fulfill so many like orb conditions, which and she fills some very tough orb conditions too. So depending on your roster, she can really fill a lot of spots for you. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So let's go ahead and let's look at her artifacts first. So she's pretty basic. You just want, I haven't farmed her artifacts a ton yet, but I did get one good artifact here. So you want attack 108 and then the Lone Wolf Warrior up. So basically it's her C50 passive. So basically her C50 is going to give her basically 5% to all stats when her overhead is at 2 stacks, which we'll talk about that in the showcase, and then you want attack. She is meant to be like more of a damage dealing character, but she has a lot of utility, which I kind of like. She's very interesting. Her spheres, since she's mainly a damage dealer, you can see she's got 3 A slots there. She does have weakness damage in her kit, so you can use weakness damage spheres. So you want to focus on brave damage and attack. So what I did was I decided to throw her own on. She is a physical damage dealer, so when weakness damage, physical damage 15%, that's a really fat attack buff. So like Raijin is another physical attack if you really want to stack on physical attack. I do think it is important though to get some brave damage in there. So I went ahead and threw 2 Rydia spheres on because we're getting brave damage and attack on both of those. Another thing you can do with her, she does do evading. So you could do 8 or Cater spheres. And I think there might be some other ones, like Edge might have one too, but Edge's might be like a B slot. But for A slots, just off the top of my head, I know Cater and 8 have dodge spheres. They give attack. Like 8's is actually like a bigger attack. It's actually not a bad one. I would prefer going more like the Rydia route or like her own sphere, just because, or just a different attack sphere, because dodging is more defensive, and depending on how you want to play her, the thing that's cool about Sice is you can play her in a way where like you can dodge and like let the enemies take turns, or you can play like a delay strategy. So just to kind of summarize here, like she does a lot of stuff. So she's got weakness damage, she's got darkness damage, she can dodge, she does traps, and she can delay. Like she's got like a ton of different things she can do. So you can play her in a team comp where you want to do a lot of delaying, or you can play a more defensive comp where she's letting her traps go off and she's dodging. Like it's very, very cool how she works. So we're going to go ahead and just show her off in the video here. So of course I didn't even set up my team yet. So let me set up my team really quick. So I need to get Sice on here. So I got to go down to Final Fantasy 7 really quick. Let's get Sice on here because I'm doing the range damage sphere here. I got so excited to jump into the showcase that I wasn't even prepped yet, and I already started hopping in. Is Sice not still featured? Yes, you know, here she is. So we're going to get Sice in there. And then who should we pair with? I think we'll just leave Prishon. Sure. Or no, let's do like Ramza. Yeah, let's just throw like Ramza on like a good fat like battery defense or like support character. So sure, let's grab Ramza. We'll throw Ramza in that slot 1. Sure, and I'm not really going to worry about calls right now. So let's just go ahead and hop in. And so there is kind of like a way that you kind of want to start her off. But after that, it's kind of just like understanding her buffs, what she's doing. Because she's got so much utility, there's a lot of different ways you can play her. So she's actually a very fun character. Like she's not a brain dead character by any means. Because she does a lot and you have a lot you can do with her kit. So what I was talking about earlier, why I think she's so good for like orbs and stuff is because to me darkness damage is an orb I've always struggled with personally, just because there aren't a ton of dark damage characters, and the ones that are out there, they're not ones I like very much, or they're not ones I pulled. So I really wanted Sice to have like a darkness damage. There are some spheres that are dodge spheres, which once again dodging isn't something a ton of characters do, right? And then she can also do like weak, well, so she's got the dark damage, she's got the dodging, and then she's got traps, and some orbs go off with traps. So she can really fill a lot of orbs. So I think she could be good for a newer player, just for future proofing to help you get through content. And she's obviously going to be good right now, right? So let's go ahead and, sure, let's shout. All right, let the enemies go here. All right, I kind of want the setup to look a certain way here so that we can show this off. I hope these guys can be delayed, by the way, because that's part of what I want to show off with here. Okay, So when Sice starts off, she's going to get 2 turns. So you can either use, I recommend you use the free turn here on your 15 or your 35. So you're either going to use Phantom Scythe or Dark Nebula. Basically, what Phantom Scythe does is it gives her an evasion up buff to help her dodge more, okay? And it's dark damage. Like, her whole kit is dark damage, okay? But then she gets an extra stack on her overhead. So she has that Scythe overhead buff, and it maxes out at 2 stacks. At 2 stacks, basically, it's going to give the plus versions of her EX, and it's going to give the plus versions of her 35, okay? The 35, right now it's just at the plus, but it'll go up to plus plus if I'm at 2 stacks. But it has a 2-turn delay, which is really cool. But other than that, it's just damage and 2-turn delay. It's very simple. So, opening turn, like, if you really needed a delay, you could start with Dark Nebula, but I'm going to recommend you open with Phantom Scythe. So I'm going to open with that because we're going to get a stack of the Scythe buff, and we're going to get evasion on right away. So that's how I would prefer to open, based on that. Then what's going to happen is her EX is going to pop up. So her EX now has the plus plus version because we're at 2 stacks of Sice. So they set her up really nice like that, right? Now, if, say, you wanted to use Dark Nebula and get the delay, but you still want to add on to your Scythe, you could then use the AA. So we'll just show off the AA here. But the AA is just an attack, but it does add to her Scythe buff. And then it also gives her some nice stat buffs, okay? Now, on the EX, the EX has a very, very unique effect. So one is it's just doing more damage based on the Scythe stacks, right? So it's doing max damage right now because it's at the plus plus. It gives her a really good buff. So her buff is that then going to Dark Enchant and then Dark Imperil the enemies for herself. So she's going to be hitting weakness damage. So that's one reason it's important to put the EX on, is because you want that weakness damage, right? But then, and it also gives her Scythe buffs as well, but it also gives her evasion 100%. So if you hit the EX and you have that buff on, so the buff is called Cynical Cadet. If that buff is on, she will dodge 100% of the time, unless the boss's move cannot be dodged, right? Now, I should have been smart. I should have put a lock call on here so I could show her dodging, but that's okay. Now, a negative aura here does another really interesting thing. So it's a delay, but it's a really unique delay where what it does is it takes the enemy's turn and it puts it behind the farthest back enemy's turn. So it works if the enemies are really spread out. So you could combo this with like a turn deleter like Zidane or something and try to put the enemy, like split them up a lot. And then you could do Nebula on the close one and push it way back. So we're going to use this on the A slot enemy and we'll see if they get pushed back. So we'll just do that there. Yep, and you can see it pushed both of those A's back behind the B. So whatever is the farthest back enemy, they're going to get pushed back behind it. So it's a very unique delay, which the number of turns it's going to delay is going to vary, right? But you can set up your team comp to kind of play around with that. Let's go ahead and push them back here a little bit. And then get, Ramza's good buffs going here. Okay, sure, we'll attack through here. So I've gone through a lot there. I mean, that's a lot of her kit. We haven't even talked about the LD yet, so we'll probably get into the LD. So normally the way you would start off is I would start with skill 1 to get the Scythe buff up. Then I would use the EX so you get your weakness damage. And then on the next turn, you could use the AA and then follow up with the LD. Something like that would be pretty good. If you want to use the AA a little bit sooner, it's not the end of the world. So we'll just do this to keep our big damage up. And actually, I'll try to finish this Lufenia because then that will give me the... It'll give me my Ultima Core spheres for Sice. Although I'm probably going to use her on her own Lufenia anyways, so it's fine. Okay. So let's go ahead. So the only thing we haven't talked about now is the LD. So the LD, once again, is just going to be a big fat dark damage. She's going to get free ability use on her next turn. But this is what puts the traps on. So what this is going to be a 12-turn trap. And it's going to tick down on anyone's turn, and it's going to do damage. So we're going to watch this go off. So now the B enemy is going to get to attack. Okay, and then there's the Tenacious Vortex. So actually pretty good damage there. Yeah, and it's just, so anytime a party member moves, right? So let's go ahead, let's do Ultima here. And you can see that debuff has 11 turns on it. So it's just going to tick down every time the trap goes off. So basically you're just going to get 12 trap hits per action. Now, this does not work during a burst phase. It has to be an actual turn. So, as long as it's not the burst phase, though, these traps are going to keep ticking down. Yep, and then there's the Tenacious Vortex. And then there's another Tenacious Vortex. So, it's going off for each enemy. So, it's a ton of, trap follow-up damage, right? Look at all that just popping off. So, that's the other utility I didn't even mention with the traps. You're getting off-turn damage, which is actually very good for like boss rush. So to me, Sice seems to be one of the more useful characters in the game. Okay, so let's show off Dark Nebula. So we haven't shown that off yet. So I'm going to hit enemy B here. This is going to be a 2-turn delay. So I can just push him back. And 600k, like, that's not bad damage. Like, she's a fun character. I'm not going to lie. I might actually go and blue her armor. I didn't blue her armor yet because I've blued some characters that I've kind of regretted in the past because I kind of blued them on hype. Without having actually played them yet, right? So I wanted to get a feel for Scythe because I've blued characters on hype and then like not really used them or not like them, but I really like Sice and I'm probably going to use her. So I think she is worth bluing for me. And I've got the resources to do it. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. I think I am going to get her blued up here. I do have to farm up more armor stuff though, because like I'm so low on armor orbs all the time just because there's so many characters. Sure, let's enervate. I would like to get her dodge off in the video. Of course, they're like never targeting her though. So it actually probably wouldn't be the worst idea to put a lock call on her. So put like Celis on her or something like that. For sure. That's the one thing I should have done. Oh, we actually died. Okay, sure, that's fine. This is actually good because the more they kill off my other characters, the more chance that Sice actually has to dodge here. I would like to just show off her dodge. All right, we do have an all attack coming, so we can show off the dodge. So sure, let's just use the negative aura. So here you're going to see it's not going to push back very far because the enemies are squished together. So that's when it's not as good. Yeah, it just puts A behind B. So nothing crazy there, right? Okay. All right, let's see her dodge here just so we can get a dodge off. Sure, we'll just do an attack here. I don't care. Okay. All right, so do some attacks. All right, so she should dodge this. Well, I'm trying to remember. Some of the recasts, they can't be dodged. So if she gets hit by this, let's see. Okay, that isn't... I don't think that's a dodgeable attack. Her dodge isn't really showing out here, is it? All right, so now enemy B is finally targeting her. Good, everyone's dead. So now we can just let Sice go by herself, which is fine. So Sice is known for being able to solo, and you can see why. Because of, like, what she's doing here with all of the traps. And then if she can just dodge everything out... Literally, her traps and her own damage can just carry the fight. It'll probably take a little bit longer. Why did she not dodge that? Did I not have my evasion up? Let me double check here. I should have that up. She should have evade. Unless these guys just... I don't know. I might have picked a bad boss. These bosses just might not be able to be dodged. I think that's it. Because she's got her buff up. Let me just check here. Yeah, she's got this up. So she's got... This gives her 100% evade chance. So I don't know why she doesn't have it. Let's go ahead and just put Phantom Scythe on again. Okay, let's see if she dodges now. Because her Phantom Scythe had fallen off. But I thought that the other one had its own. Okay, so we need to have Phantom Scythe on. Okay, now we've got the dodging in. So, unless Tomberry Troop is wrong, but it says it's got her evasion plus 100% on the Cynical Cadet. But you might need to have the Phantom Scythe up. So keep that Phantom Scythe evade up. Somebody can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but... That's basically the gist of Sice. So she's got a lot going on. So let's recap here. She's got dark damage. She's got delay. She's got dodging. She's got traps. So she's got all that fun stuff going on in her kit. She's a very cool character. So I definitely think I'm going to use her a lot. Let's see how she can solo here. Let's just try to solo this out and finish it. The one bad part is the one enemy's orb did not finish. But yeah, now we're dodging out. So now we're fine that we used that Phantom Scythe. So I let that Phantom Scythe run off, and that's what ruined our evade chance. But now we're good. So let's see if she can't just finish this off solo. You can see it takes a lot longer, but dude, with these traps... Yeah, and without having, like, the other allies' buffs, it causes her damage to go down quite a bit. But you can see now we can just dodge the rest of this out, and we're good. And then that's how you kind of solo with her. So... I've even seen runs, because Sice just came back on JP, and even in her newest Shinryu, I've heard people do solos of that too. So if you want to try to do like solo runs, you totally could do that. You just need to make sure you keep your Phantom Scythe up so you're dodging. The other thing I should have mentioned is her overhead stacks that are at 2. The only way that those go down is if she gets broken. So as long as she's dodging and not getting broken, like, you're never really going to have to worry about that. Oh, hey, they lost their... We got to put this back on. They lost their traps. We need their traps back on. So basically, after you do that opening, right? So like I said, I would open with skill 1, then you can go into EX and then AA and LD, and then after that, you just vary the playstyle based on what the situation is, right? So if you need a delay, use the delay. If you need to refresh the dodge, and do all that fun stuff here. All right, this is actually going to take a while, so we'll just end the video here. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Sice. I think she's actually a very, very cool character. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. We'll see y'all on the next one.